Guess I could go full screen for a minute. How you guys doing? I'm here. Oh my goodness. Sorry, today has been complete chaos. So, just to let you guys know, I was at lunch with my good friend Mel Milton. I think you guys know who Mel Milton is. And hello, everyone. Hold on, I gotta get my puppy out of here. 1 second. Come on, Trix, let's go. Let's go out. Come on. Go. Okay, bye-bye. Ciao. Oh, jeez. Okay. Anyway, she's been in here with me. So, and a couple other friends here from Utah, Shane Hunt and Mel's brother Miles, and they look so much alike. It's funny. And Worth Daly. Worth is a environment artist, and Miles and Mel are both concept artists, and Worth, I already said Worth, and Shane Hunt is also a concept artist, and yeah, they're all phenomenal artists, super cool people. So, okay, yeah, Allison, and we finally had a showing, so that's good. Let's see, what else? So, all right. So how about you guys? What have you been up to? And Chris, I have to say hello to Chris. Shout out to Chris. She just joined us. She was one of my very first students from a long time ago. And so, Chris, when you messaged me, I was at lunch, so I couldn't message you back. But welcome, Chris. I'm so glad you were able to make it. I'm so glad you're here. So, yeah, awesome. Oh, this. So, yeah, Lord of Humongous. This is an actual 1977. Yeah, this is one of the first ones. It's not in the best shape, but it's original. Yeah, and it's been it's all, the glass is kind of distorted, and same with this X-Wing too. This is a original X-Wing. It's missing the canopy, but yeah, it's the original deal. And with the wings that come apart. Anyway, enough of my toys. So my uncle gave those to me. He was moving out and he had a bunch of stuff, so yeah. Anyway, oh, you've been trying the eye workflow that I showed on Monday. How has that worked out for you? You've been in Retopo land. Awesome. Cool. Oh, all your decals came up. Yeah, honestly. There's just like, they're old. They're about as old as me, so all of my decals have came off too. So, anyway, you tried creating hair with a collection of skin modifiers. I'd like to check that out. That sounds cool. All right. Yep. And I don't know how long I'll be able to stream today. I'm gonna try and go the full 2 hours, but we might have to cut it short. So just to start off, does anybody have any questions while I'm getting these models ready? Okay, let me see. And I'm not organized today at all, so I apologize. Okay. Hold on a second. And Tim, if you're here, yes, I'm going to send you something. One second. All right. Look. Okay. Let's see. I have one from Overton. Do you want me to go over yours, Overton, since you're here? I'm kind of anxious to see this one, by the way. Okay. Let's pop back. You've applied for a job with an animatronics studio in Nashville? Seriously, in animatronics? That sounds fun. Downloading this guy. All right. And an announcement for you guys. I have the blog done for the Mermaid Challenge. I haven't sent out the email yet, but it's done and it's posted, and I will give you a link to that right now. So congrats to the winners. Now this one, I have to say, this student challenge was easily the toughest challenge that I've had to judge. I don't judge them, but the hardest one to put together. Here is the link. Okay, so you can go check that out. You can check it out after we're done here if you'd like, or read it while we're streaming here. Doesn't matter, but yeah, it's. And I just want to say thank you to the people who participated and even participated and decided not to, load their stuff up. As long the whole goal of that student challenge was to just do something, be inspired to sculpt something. It didn't matter what it was, and just as many times per day, per that month as possible, just to kind of get you into the practice of doing sculpting every single day. So I think as far as that is concerned, it was successful, but I really wanted to have Tom be involved a little bit more, and it turns out Tom is a super duper busy guy with his podcast, and he's making a 2D animated short right now with his brother, and he's been traveling a lot, so he just didn't have enough time. All he had time for was to pick his favorite ones and then say, all right, you do the rest. So I was kind of left going, okay, I guess I can do the comments on there, and I didn't have time to really go through each one of them and give critique on them, because there are collages of them and there's so many, I couldn't really critique them. So, but I was able to leave comments. So I hope that's pretty cool. And then let's see. So yeah, so congratulations, awesome stuff. I think it turned out really, really good as far as the amount of work that was done. I think I am going to add a couple more images. I want to, because those collages are so small, I might pull out a few of the key images and just kind of stack them in there a little bit, just so we can see them up close more. So you had a lot of fun, Stephanie. Awesome. Okay, sweet. So I'm glad. I just didn't want you to be disappointed because it wasn't as well, didn't get as much comment or feedback as the Creature Box one did. The Creature Box challenge has by far been my favorite as far as getting you guys a lot of critiques and feedback and stuff like that. They did it. I wasn't expecting them to do that, and Greg and Dave just went above and beyond. So I'm coming off of that high, and then it's like Tom doesn't have any time, so I'm just like, oh man, kind of a wind down of my sails a little bit. So okay. So anyway, yes, if you want to go check that out, I'm going to be sending it out to the social medias and the emails and things like that later on. Probably Monday. I might do it on it because Monday is a good time for news. So Friday isn't really not, or the weekend is not, because everybody's out doing stuff. So I'll probably send it out on Monday. But yes, thank you so much, everybody, for participating in that. It was a fun one for sure. Very fun. Okay. So and Tom was just over the moon about it as well. So he's just like, holy crap, just like. But he's a 2D guy. He's a hand drawn guy. He's like, I don't know much about this 3D stuff. I mean, I make him sound older than he is, but yeah, good stuff. Oh, you did, Allison? That's great. That's great. Did it get some good traction? I hope so. Also, if any of you guys are in here that did participate in the Mermaid Challenge, could you please, I forgot to ask, but could you give me a list of the concept artists that you followed, if you followed any in any of those? Just kind of, if your collages are numbered, if you could just kind of give me a numbered list of the concept artists that you use, just so I can give them credit on the blog post. That would be really super cool. I'd appreciate it. I will also send an email to you, just kind of reminding you if you could do that. I want to put those on there. So, but if they're all just like fun and they're your concepts and everything, just kind of say they were just yours and you're having fun, which is fantastic as well. Okay, so let me. Okay. Just extracting a model here. Oh, you had to mark it as mature? Really? Pretend nakedness. Okay, I want to show you this one really quickly first. So this is Matt Dunn's model. I gave him a feedback session offline because he asked me kind of midweek, and I've been working with him a little bit, and I gave him some feedback. I want to show you the concept art for this. So Matt's working on this. Matt, are you here? I don't know if Matt's here. Hey, what's up, Mike? So go back and give him aerial seashells. cover it up. Cover up the stylized nudity, would you? That's making me feel weird. Okay. Anyway, so this is the concept, and here is the model that Matt sent me. And some of my feedback. Oh, hey, what's up, Matt? Yeah, no problem. I was actually I was debating just playing your feedback session here during the Q&A, because I gave him a quick 20-minute video. It's not quick, but I gave him a 20-minute video of feedback on this model. I was going to just try and summarize it, but if you guys want to listen to it, I could probably play it for you. I don't know how that would work. I've never done that before, but for the summary, so for the most part, yeah, this model is looking really, really good, very close. I'm loving the hair, loving the costuming. The face is looking nice. That's a really difficult face to hit, just so you know. But yeah, really, really coming along well. So there's a few things that I gave him feedback on, and mainly it's I was commenting on volumes of things. So essentially this blue piece right here, it feels like it's inflated, like it's full of air or something. So my comment was kind of deflate that, add a few wrinkles like this, and minimize the spikes a little bit, and thicken up the spikes, just to kind of simplify that whole area. And if he's going to print this, which I hope he does, because it'd be really cool. If he's going to print this, you'd want those spikes bigger anyway. And then, like some of these cuts and things in the armor, I would suggest using like a live boolean to chop them out of that material, or use like an alpha. I don't know what the end goal is, if it's going to be a game character, if it's going to be a 3D print, something like that. But you can simplify the holes in the outfit, and kind of, make it that way. And just when you're doing some retopology, you need to be kind of careful and just kind of use some triangles and just kind of have at it. And then the biggest comment on the body was, you can see her legs are the knees are thick. And that's kind of a defining trait of this design, is she has thick knees. And Matt just kind of did more of an anatomical, I can't talk today, anatomically correct knee, where tapers in more. So I gave him some feedback and kind of said, maybe you could make the knee a little more straighter, like this, thicker. Let's see. So yeah, this is his model here, and let's see where's the one that I did here. So here's the difference right there in those legs, and thicker feet and ankles, and then most likely bigger boots to fit those shoes, just to have, so the bottom has more weight to it, like that. Oh, you're going to do them with Booleans? Okay, great. And then another piece of feedback was this skull on her shoulder. Here, let me do new so we can see the original and park that over here. And then go back to the updated one so you can see the difference. Okay, so see this skull, I just shortened this nose and lifted it up a little bit so it wasn't so swoopy. And then again, probably thicken up the netting here. And then make this piece, let me get my little select lasso so I can point. So this piece right here, make it more in the vein of this piece, so it looks like cloth, because in the concept, she's looking more like they're like sleeves, and then the sleeves have these pieces of armor or spiked something like leatherish, like strapped around the top of those. You can kind of see it looks like sleeves up past her elbow. I don't know what they're almost like big giant gloves or something, and then they're wrapped in these armor bits. So I'm not too clear on what that is. And then just kind of fray the bottom of her shirt a little bit. I wouldn't go this much. I would kind of mimic the fraying on this piece up here. Just kind of simplify, exaggerate. A little goes a long ways. And then the last comment I had was about the hair. If you look at the hair from this angle, you can kind of see how much of a mass of hair is right here. There's quite a bit of hair right there, and you can kind of see it in this angle and in this angle. But this one's a little misleading, I think, because her head's turned. But if you look at the side of her head, the mass of this hair could probably be about this big. You know, just increase the mass of that whole thing. And then extend, which would put that hair holder, whatever this is, this hair scrunchy thing, move it back to about here. And then make these tendril things a little bit longer, so it kind of matches that whole the mass of it. And like if you circle, I was kind of pointing out to Matt, if you look at the mass of this hair right here, you can see how thick that is, and then it has the little tendrils kind of popping off the back. And if you kind of follow the mass right here, you can just kind of compare it and figure out how that hair is working. It's hard to decipher it because it's in perspective. You know, when you turn your head around like that, it's in perspective. So then you just have to kind of gauge what is it really doing. Also, when you have 4 different poses and 4 different, you know, the concept artist has drawn the hair in 4 different ways. Each one of those has kind of been interpreted in a slightly different way. So, you know, what you have to kind of decide what that means for this character. It just needs to feel the same, I guess. And then one more comment was this earpiece. I was going to, I just said he could lengthen it out because he had it circular, and then reduce the thickness from the side. So here, I'll show you what it looks like in this view right here. And I'll show you what his original one looked like. So you can see how much thicker these cups are, and then how much more round they are on her head. I just suggested like lengthening it and then slimming it down so it conformed to the side of her head a little bit more. I pushed it into her head, but I would actually really build it and make it thinner. But yeah, Matt, these eyes are looking fantastic. I really like these eyes. And the side profile of her face is nice. Yeah, you've done a good job. Good job. And then I guess I keep saying, and the last thing, I just keep remembering some feedback I gave him. Another thing was to that swipe of color across her face is kind of faded on the top and the bottom. And in the concept, it's pretty sharp. It's kind of like a band of color that she's painted on her face. So if you can make it look like a paint stroke or something across her face, it's very tight in all instances. So, and I don't know if that's just because of dynamic subdivisions, but in the end, just make sure you have that band tight band. All right. Oh, the concept is from a character design book by 21 Draw. Ah, cool, cool. All right, Allison, good luck. You got this. Go find a house. Go find a a snail shell. Like I always picture us like when we're moving houses or moving places. I picture us like hermit crabs. You know, we kind of leave our shell behind for another crab to move into, and then we're gonna go find our own new little shell. Maybe it's bigger because we've grown a little bit. That kind of thing. I don't know. I'm just weird that like that. Okay, so yeah, Matt, this looks really great. It turned out well. Okay, so Overton, I'm gonna see if I can open yours now. And do you guys have any questions in between these reviews? Oh, that's right, Overton. All right. Yeah, this. So Overton, remember to save Z tools, not Z projects. So this one is you saved a Z. You sent me a Z project. So let me make sure this is saved. Let's see. I'm gonna save this as Road Girl 13. Okay, just so I have it. All right. Hey, Donna, how's it going? No, I forgot to. I was out to lunch with some friends and I forgot to post the video on early enough. So I apologize for that. Okay. So I need to open the project. So let's see. Project. Yay, Donna. And I just got your email, Donna, by the way. Thank you. If the models have been retopoed, can you show us the topology? It's always interesting to see how it's approached. Oh yeah, sure. Brandon, yep, I was out to lunch. I'm always out to lunch. Elfie, that'd be kind of fun. Yeah, I was thinking about like doing a bust and just saying like doing a caricature. So, okay. 6 mil. Overton, this guy is great. I love the swooping bell-bottom legs. Yeah, this design is so good. I love that hat too. He's just such a cool guy. Oh, you sent me two? Okay. Oh, yes. Z-Tools preserve everything. They do everything. Everything, and then the little asterisk is except history. The only thing Z-Tool doesn't save is history. So, like, this will save every... That's why it will get... Your files will get gigantic because it saves... Z projects will save everything. And it will save, like... It will save your brush settings and your light settings and everything. It just it'll save it all. So that's why I recommend saving Z-Tools because it's cleaner and it's less prone to corruption. So Z projects kind of tend to get corrupted. Then you can't open them and they're just kind of corrupted. So Z-Tools are like the default standard for the files that you should be saving. And yeah, I go over that in module 1, lesson 1. I talk about that. It's like, yeah, the very first, and honestly, it really sucks that I have to make a lesson on that. Why don't you just open a file and save a file? Why do you know what I mean? So, and they also have the hotkeys for open and close on Z projects, not Z tools. So Control O will open a project. Control S will save a project, right? So they, like ZBrush, Pixelogic, they want you to save projects, but it's just not a good practice. It's just not. And it sucks. So anyway, sorry for the confusion on that. But yes, I recommend saving Z tools, not Z projects. And these hands are great. Look at these hands. I'm going to zoom in here. Look at those. These are awesome. That ring. These are great. Overton, you've come a long ways, my friend. Yeah, you've leveled up. This is great. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that, do that nose. I'm trying to decide what this gun is doing, though. Let's see. Well, it's got a strange material on it because when you share, like I've said before, when you share Z project, it saves materials in a number system. So if you share it with somebody else and they have different materials, it's going to assign a different material to it that you didn't intend on it having it assigned. So we're going to just fill it with this flat color for a second. All right, and then we're just going to go back to Skin Shade 4 and just take a look. So that's an interesting shape for sure. It's cool. I would just define this a little bit more to try and figure out kind of what, what this is supposed to be, I guess. Okay, and you sent me the concept, right? Okay. This concept, devoid of funk. I think that's how you say it. Hold on, let me open this. You guys got to see. Let's see. Sorry, I'm saving it. And Overton, you said you made this a long time ago, this image? Okay, let's bring these in. Oh, come on. Where is it? Oh, gosh. Sorry, one second. It's having a hard time. Oh, pff. Okay. That's why, because I saved it in the wrong place. I saved it in my local pictures. Good job. Okay. That should do it. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, you guys check this out. That's awesome. Okay, let me send these ones away now that we're done with them. Sir Nose. Okay. Adjust the intensity a little bit. All right. All right. Hold on. I'm just reading your email really fast. Okay. So you're looking for feedback before you pose him, yeah? Okay, we can definitely do that. All right, let me get back to the comments so I can read them. In 1977, snooze gun, like a nose. Ah, I see. Okay, cool. You're a geezer. I'm a geezer too. Yeah, there's a lot of us in here. Yeah, I know it's the rifle stock. I'm just trying to figure out like the shape of it to make sense, I guess, a little bit, but all right. You're horrible with hard. So the secret to it, Overton, is creasing, and it looks like you have a little bit of it. Oh, it looks like you're using support loops instead of creases, but essentially just try creasing stuff and using and building parts and keeping the parts in separate pieces. That's all. So like you have a bunch of these separated, like this piece and this piece, which is good. But I would like maybe take this handle and make it a separate piece so it's not integrated, because as soon as you integrate something, it's going to look smooth and just kind of buttery. If that's the look you're going for, then great. But if you want it to look more structured, then make it out of separate pieces. Like, see how your trigger is different, or your sight right here is different than your the body. So, and if you hide it right here, there's a defining line right here. Same with this, a nice defining line. But going from the kind of this barrel to this handle is very smooth and buttery. So if you either crease it, so let's see, you could just go to ZModeler, hover over this edge, hold down spacebar, go to crease, and do edge loop complete, and then crease it like that. Then you can start to see, you can define lines with creases like that. See that? Instead of support loops. I know, like, traditional box modeling, you're used to support loops and putting them in there, which is great because then you can control the amount of crease that you have, but sometimes it gets a little too loose. The crease gets loose, so you can just crease it like this. See, when I say support loops, so you have 2 support loops in here, well, and one of them is creased. So, which that would work right there, what you have going. But yeah, it depends on how you want to work it. Buttergun. It's so good. I want to listen to some funk right now, like while I'm working on this. It's so awesome. All right. So some critique on this guy. No, honestly, yeah, he's super good. Let's see. I'm just kind of taking a look here. Maybe, let me see what his cheeks look like. No, I think you have I was just kind of looking at this cheek shape, which I think you have going right here, because this strong cheekbone right there. And I would not have the whites of his eyes be perfectly white. Like bring him into, like go into this area of orange a little bit, like just inside of here. That will help, because right now his eyes are just so stark white that it's distracting. So I would just kind of dim those down a little bit. Let's see. And you could probably add some, well, I don't know what your thoughts are on your colors, but yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, you've been putting a lot of work into this, man. He looks good. And just pay attention to the warbles along here, and I've noticed a little bit along the gun barrel. It's kind of a little whoopy. So just make sure that this is like super duper clean. You could probably push the depth of the ear in a little bit more. And then you could continue, so the transition between the hair and the painted hair is a little too contrasty. It looks good on the back of his head, but I would feather out the stubble even more, like down into here some more. And then be careful of the stubble up front. So I probably would take it off of here, or kind of figure out how to taper it a little more. What's up, Ezra? How's it going? Does that make sense, Overton? How do you unwarble the gun barrel? You just... Man, all this stuff keeps catching my eye, like this watch and this ring. These are really cool. Okay, so how to unwarble the... That's a super good question. I'm going to show you right now. It's easy. Okay, so the more spans you have, the more opportunity you have to make it warble. So the easiest way to get rid of all the warbling is to get rid of the spans. So what you can do is go to Insert, and then you just you hover over a loop with Alt, hold down Alt, and delete it. Here, let me get out of this mode. We're just going to delete them all. Don't be afraid to do this either. And see all the warbles magically disappear? And it becomes straight as an arrow. You can't do that on like an arm or something, but because you still need to have surface undulation. But on something like this, that's straight as an arrow, boom, make it straight. Same with this, just delete these guys. And you can still have a little bit of curvature in here, but if you have fewer lines, then you have fewer chances of warbling. Then you can slide these around too. Go to slide, edge loop complete, and you can slide these to even them up a little bit. Then hit D. There you go, straight. And same with this this sight too. You can just get rid of all these. I'm on slide. You have to be on insert. But if you have anything like this, anything organic or anything that has any sort of curvature, you can't do it. Obviously. But don't be afraid to remove edges on straight bits. Yeah, I'm afraid to remove this one, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, see, because it's kind of supporting the trigger curve, so I don't want to delete any of these if they're supporting some kind of a curve. You just got to be careful. But you might be able to remove that one. Yeah. If it doesn't change the silhouette or anything like that, then you're good. Okay, I think I might have messed up. And then if you remove too many, you can just put one back in. But I think I accidentally collapsed one too many up in here. But I'm just gonna kind of be careful. I don't know what I did. Also, with weapons and things like that, it's easiest to build them on world space 0, like right down on 0 in your world, and use symmetry. That way you can get symmetry and then move it back up into place. So, and if you have moved your weapon off of 0, you can always move it back. So see, this weapon is here. That's another lesson I can show you guys today. So the world 0 is down here, and your gun is up here. So what we can do is we'll just put it down here. You can actually just hit home, and it will send it home. But now it's kind of off kilter. But we're going to solo this. Look at it from the top. We're just going to try and get it as centered and straight as possible. We can reset this. And we can put this gizmo in the center, send it back home, and then kind of look at it from the front, kick it back like this. Well, let's send it home. There we go. Okay, and then look at it from the side. Is it straight? No, it's not. Oh, Brandon, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I think you can do that in Maya as well. Okay, so I'm just kind of looking at this center down here like this. You can see that I don't know if I messed up the inside of the barrel or whatever, but I want that centered line to be just to the right of center. So then if I do a mirror and weld, you can see now it's kind of fixed a lot of that stuff. So it fixed some of those mirroring problems and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so anyway, that's why when I was making Sirloin's sword, it's still down at 0 between his legs because I want to use symmetry and keep it down there as long as possible, because you don't need to move it up into his hand until you actually pose it, or until you actually need to bake it out as maps or do your game resolution model or something like that. So, Can you align it by the edge loop in ZBrush? I don't believe so. Not that I know of. Oh, can I look at the horrible? Oh yeah, that's right. You were wanting me to look at that watch. You're like, how do I build a watch? It was looking good to me. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a look. Okay. Let me fill it with this flat material first. So we can take a look. And then let's turn off. Yeah, okay. So again, now that you kind of have the size, it's not bad. It's actually not bad at all. But what I would do, honestly, is I would move it down to 0, 0 again, or take it into Blender and do what Brennan said. But I keep wanting to say Brendan because Brendan. Anyway, Brandon, do what he said, and so you can keep symmetry. Now ZBrush kind of has a keep symmetry thing similar to that, but it doesn't. Excuse me, it doesn't always work very well. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's like it might be under. I thought it was under symmetry. I don't use it very often, but it's like. What is it called? Posable symmetry, right here. So posable symmetry kind of works like that, where you can pose your character and then you can hit symmetry and you can sculpt on this finger and it will affect this finger even though they're not symmetrical across each other. That's something you might want to try and play with. But anyway, again, for this watch, I would most likely stick it back down on 0, 0 after you got the size of it, just so you can use symmetry and keep it all nice and clean and straight. And then when you're done, move it back up to his wrist after you're done. So, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. I would probably keep the cube backs closed. I wouldn't leave them open like this. So let me just take a look here. Because you're kind of building it like a real watch is built, which is fine. But also, I think it seems like he's pretty small in the scene. Let's see this. Yeah, okay. No, he's good. Look at his nose sticking through there. That's hilarious. It's like he got stuck in it. Oh, man. No, I was just checking out scale. It looks like the right scale, but I don't know why my brush isn't letting me go any smaller than that. But anyway, let me do the same thing with this. I'm going to turn on the floor. And then I'm going to pull this down to be centered. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'll show you how to bridge the holes here in a second. We're just going to reset this. Okay, now, yeah, this one is going to, it's going to be a little tricky to get it to mirror correctly. I don't know if we'll be able to, but we'll see. We'll see if we can do it. Okay. That might do it. Then I need to, I'm going to do an auto groups just to see what it does. Okay, so you've bridged all these together. I would not weld them together in between these cubes, but we'll get to that point. Then for this, looking from the top, I'm just going to turn this so it's straight. So what I'm doing, let me walk you through this. So basically I hit auto groups to get each shape into its own polygroup. Then I'm snapping to the top, and you can see that this pink one is kind of off center now. It's kind of rotated a little off. So I want to grab that and mask just that. So I'm holding down Control with the gizmo turned on, and it's going to isolate just that piece. And I don't have symmetry turned on right now, So what I can do is I can hold down Alt and click on this Go to Unmasked Mesh Center, and it will send the gizmo to the center of that pink piece. Okay, and now I can rotate it into place, kind of like this, and then move it, and just try and get it as close to center as possible. And then I can do the same thing. I'm just going to clear this. Sometimes I'll move the gizmo over here, and then we'll just kind of try and get that as best as we can, and then move it here. Let's reset this. Just move it off. Okay, so now let me clear this up. Also, Overton, a Z project will save all of your tools in one. And you can see over here, you have a ton of Z tools loaded. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you'll tend to see your performance start to lag, and you'll also see when it goes to save it, it's going to take a long time to save because the file is so huge. So what I'm going to do to clean that up and get better performance is I'm going to save this out as a Z tool right now. You just go Save As right here. And it's going to be called whatever you named it. Okay. So now we saved it. And what I like to do is I'm going to go back to the ruler file under, see, it even saved that you had the texture window open last. It saves all of that stuff. But I'm going to load my ruler now, and it's going to clean all that up. It'll clear everything out, and I just have this sphere with my ruler. Then I'm going to load tool and go grab that tool. Okay, and now it's just this tool, and you'll see a significant increase in performance of your machine. Or you should. Okay, so now let's get down into that watch. See how it seems like the scale is a little off? It's fine. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the watch is just small. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do a mirror weld, but this piece, this orange piece, the center is really off. So what you can do with symmetry, now that you have this, is you don't only have symmetry across X, you also have it across Y or Z or whatever you want. So if you go to symmetry right here and you say activate symmetry, underneath here you can see your options. You can hit Y and turn X off. Let me see, maybe it's Z. No, that's Z. This is X. Okay, Z. That's what I want. Okay, so I want it to be across this direction. So now what I can do is I can grab my move brush and just move this across the center line to the right, just so it's across here, and then unhide it, and then try a mirror and weld and see what it does. There we go. It still has some issues with the circular pieces, so I'm going to drag that across the center as well. Mirror and weld. There we go. Okay, so it is going to put a slice down the center of these cubes, but that's okay. And it might be quicker to actually draw in these cubes again. And also you can, like I showed you, can reduce some of this warble. See how it's got some warble in here? Just by deleting one of these edges, and it'll make it nice and clean again. And then using creasing to bring some of those back. Let me turn off not the line fill. Let me turn off the floor. There we go. Okay. But yeah, I would keep these like just cubes. I wouldn't try and like connect them, and you're never going to see that. You're never going to see the connections in there unless you had just this watch and that's the only thing you were building, and you were lighting it all nicely and making it a product shot that was kind of realistic. Then you would go into all that detail and put in the hinges and everything. But if it's just a watch that's a prop on a character, he's going to be walking and talking and flipping that thing around. You're never going to see the little hinges or how it's actually built back inside there. So essentially you just want to, like I said, just make these cubes. Instead of, and you could go through and bridge the holes of all of these, but I don't know that that's going to be necessary. I just want to come and look at what you have. It looks like you have just this really tight little edge around all of these. So what I want to try and do here is do a group by normals and just see what that gives me. Okay, so that does give me this little edge. I'm just going to try and hide it. Yeah, just place each cube one at a time, because now you have a guide and it's pretty much showing you exactly where they should be. But I'm going to try something. I'm just going to try that to hide that little edge that you had. See how that edge is now gone? Okay, so now I can do a delete hidden. Okay, so do you want me to walk you through what I just did? I can undo that. Because I don't want you to miss what I'm showing you here. So what I did is I did a group by normals. And group by normals, what that does is it adds a poly group to everything that's past 45 degrees. Okay, so since these little flanges, you can see the little outliney pieces that you built and they're all connected, you want to get rid of those. So basically it put them all in their own poly group because they're not past 45 degrees. The only one that is this top one here. So I'm just going to hold down Control plus Shift and then hide it. See that? I'm hiding it. And now it's gone. And now these are all separate cubes. And I can hit delete hidden. Now if I do an auto group, you remember before it put each of these into its own polygroup. So it was all purple because all the cubes were connected. But now they're all separate islands. So now it assigned each one of these cubes a different polygroup. And now there's this cut down the center, and I don't necessarily want that cut. So I'm going to delete this cut just by using insert edge loop and just getting rid of these. Oops. Okay, and since it's mirrored, it's doing its thing. All right, and you can do two mirrors at the same time. You can mirror across X and Y, or X and Z at the same time. Can you see that? And it's really cool because check this out. I can grab my move brush and I can work on 4 quadrants of this thing if I want to, because it's mirrored across 2 different axes. That's the really cool thing about using ZBrush and having, like, if you want to do like radial symmetry, you could do that too. Okay, so how would you do the top glass? Here, hold on a second. Can you change the degree value on group by normals? Absolutely, yes. So if you see group by normals in this list right here, see this max angle? It's set by default to 45. Okay, so you can lower that, you can raise it, and yeah, it'll give you a better result. Say if it's assigning your polygroups too much or too little, it's not catching the ones you want, then you can quickly do that. So, okay, so I'm going to do a mirror and weld again, and that should mirror. Well, let me just have X turned on. Oh, mirror and weld across X, mirror and weld across Z. There we go. So I wanted to mirror and weld across 2 axes, but that's not working. So I'm going to mirror it here across the Z first. Okay, so it flipped it. It just flipped it, just mirrored it back. Then I'm going to go mirror and weld across Z. Oh man, it's still, and local symmetry is not turned on. Okay, it's like a losing battle here. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out which way it's mirroring across. Okay. This one's better. So I'm trying to just fix this line right here and moving it. I think it's if I move it over here. Nope, other way. I need to move it this way, then do a mirror and weld. There we go, and that fixed that line. Okay, now we're all fixed, and then hit D, and that's all smoothed. So are you talking about with, well, let me show you how to cap these first. Okay, and it added these creases back because I did a mirror and weld. So let me undo those or get rid of those again. We don't need a mirror across this. Because when I want to cap these, I don't want to have to bridge twice. I just want to bridge once. So what you can do is hover over an edge, hold down spacebar, and go to bridge, and it says edges. Okay, this is really easy, really easy. All you have to do is pick one edge, and then pick the second edge, and then it'll bridge it like that. And then do the same thing, one edge, the next edge, bridge. Same thing, bridge, bridge, and bridge. Now it looks like I turned off mirroring on this side. So let me, which way is, let's do mirror and weld across X. No, come on, is it? Nope. I want it across Z, but the opposite direction. So let me sorry, this is, I'm confusing myself now. I'm flipping it over on this side and then mirror and welding on Z, so I don't have to, there we go. Now they're all full. And I can do that again, do auto groups, which will put everything in their own group so the caps aren't a different polygroup color. And then mirror and weld it again so they're symmetrical across Z. So there you go. Now when I hit D, it's going to subdivide that down. But some of these edges aren't being creased. Is there something else going on in here? That's really strange. I'm going to go... for some reason, see when I hit dynamic subdivisions, it's giving me this really weird, it's acting like it's not creased on this side, and I don't know why. So I'm just going to try and do a crease. And I think I do know why. When you have a crease, when you put it down, you'll notice these two little tiny dotted lines on either side of the edge. And that means this side is creased and this side is creased. And I think what happened since I bridged across there after it was creased, that dotted line is only on one side of the line and it's not on the inside. So I think if I crease it now, yep. Wow, that fixed them all. Okay, well, I just clicked on one and it's like, I'm gonna fix everything. So now it's not doing it. Okay, so another one you can do is do like a crease across here. And then you don't need to have that support loop. Crease across there. Okay, so you're talking about the top of the glass of the watch be inset into the base. Yeah, you can totally do that. And I would do that with live booleans. So what I can do, here, I'll just do it with this piece. So you can see this piece right here. I'm going to center my gizmo in the middle, and I'm going to, well, let me move this actually. Hold down Control and just mask it off because I just want this piece to be in a separate subtool, okay? So I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna make it subtractive, but you have to have it in a different subtool to make that happen. So I'm going to hit Split Unmask Points, which is going to put it in its own group. Okay, let me go down to this jewelry folder. Look at your organizational skills. Look at you. Okay, so I'm gonna hide everything except for the jewelry, and then I'm gonna take this watch top. Okay, I want to make sure these are showing. You can show this one too. This is like another watch you had or something. Okay, so I'm gonna use this and make it subtractive. So I'm gonna turn on subtractive right here, and then turn on live boolean. Okay, so now this live boolean, it's actually subtracting. Here, let me turn off this. See how it's subtracting instead of adding. So you can actually cut it right out of the watch face. I think that's the look you were going for, right? And you can also bevel the outer bevel by beveling the internal cylinder. I know that's probably like, what are you talking about? So I'm going to take this cylinder and I'm going to mask it off. I'm going to mask off the top like this. And then I'm going to center that gizmo down here, and then taper it in like this. So it has this taper. Then it's going to give a taper to that outer edge. And I can do it real time. That's why it's called live Boolean. You can actually see that taper happen and then increase the size of that cylinder overall. Let's see. I'm going to unmask it and then just increase it like that. And now we have a nice taper. See that? Yep, some watches have raised glass, some, you know, it completely depends on the watch and how it's made. So I would actually find some reference and just look at how it's made and try and copy it, try and duplicate it. That's the best way. Anyway, that's live Boolean, and that's what I would recommend you do. So anyway, does that kind of clear it up? Yeah, live Boolean's nuts. I still don't have a lesson on it yet, but I really want to get a lesson in there. And because live Boolean is really, really nice for making keys in objects that you want to print. Like if you're going to make a slot and a hole, you can make that tab and that hole two different pieces and actually cut out one and add it to the other and make a really nice key in no time. And it just works, and you can slice a model up really easily just by putting a super thin disc like on the shoulder. Just shove a super thin disc in between there and make it subtractive, and it'll just cut that, make that line cut out of there, and then just make like a pyramid and duplicate it. Make one subtractive and one positive, and you have your key. It's super easy, super easy. Can you give me a strategy of approaching the posing and sculpture of the cape? Absolutely. So I'm going to turn off live Boolean for now just because it's faster, and leave this as it is. And let's find that cape. Okay, and I've talked about this before, but I'm happy to talk about it as many times as people need. So with capes, okay, the best thing you can do with a cape is pose it as a single layer, okay? Because when you go to pose something that has thickness, it is a ginormous pain in the ass to pose that thing, because you're trying to pose the front and the back of a thin slice of a thing, right? So it's actually best to delete, and we can, what we can do is duplicate this. So let me make sure we're on it and it's live. Let's see, close cape, right there. Okay, thick cape. So we're going to duplicate this, and you want enough geometry that you're going to be able to pose it for one, okay? But what we're going to do for a second is we're going to delete this interior geometry. And what you can do is you can hide, because I want to get rid of the purple, the thickness, and the orange, which is the inside. So I'm going to hold down Control plus Shift and click on this point and isolate it, but then reverse it so it's hidden. And then I'm only left with the blue portion of the cape. Then I'm going to go delete hidden, get rid of all the interior. So now we just have this one single-sided shape. So now what we want to go through and do is add even geometry throughout that entire cape. So then we have something to pose. Because right now, if we were to try and pose this cape, there's not enough geometry to bend it. So for example, if I were to mask this off, and I grab this gizmo and say I want this cape to fly off into space, it's going to do that. You know, it's going to, because I don't have enough geometry. And if I wanted to like bend it down here, there's not enough geometry. So the best way to do that is just to go through and add some geometry throughout here. Okay. Whoops, come on. Where did my Z modeler go? Okay, so I just want to be on insert, edge loop again, and I'm going to insert multiple, okay? Well, I'm going to get rid of this one first, and then hold down and say insert multiple edge loops. And what that allows me to do is click and drag and insert multiple like this. And don't just ignore the polygroups for now. but it allows me to do semi-even polygroups all the way down. And I don't know why it's leaving this little blue edge here, but we need to get rid of that. Okay, and then I'm going to put one up here, but I only want a single because there's not quite enough up here. And then I want to slide this one so it's a little more even. Because what you're looking for is you want to have squares. So I'm going to hit Control W and put the entire... Well, before I do that, I want to get rid of this little slice. You don't want this little slice down here. So I'm going to hide this. Hide this. So all we have is the slice. Invert hidden. So now the slice is hidden. And do a delete hidden. Okay? So here we go. Flowy cape. Then hit Control W to put the entire thing. That's kind of funny. It chose white. Let's do another. So we have the entire thing in its own single poly group, and now it has evenly spaced squares all the way down. And let me turn on symmetry. I want to smooth this out even a little bit more across here and across the shoulders. And I want to move the shoulder line down just a little bit so it's kind of more even across these shoulders. Like this. Okay, and this collar is probably going to stay where it is and not bend much. So it's just fine. Now we can turn on dynamic subdivisions and we can take a look at it. Also, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but if you hit crease, if you make a crease, it will crease open edges. So if I go to, I'm going to go over here under geometry and find creasing. Where are you? Crease, crease. Well, I'm going to crank this tolerance up. There we go. So the crease tolerance works just like the assign polygroup tolerance. So you want to crank it all the way up so it's not going to crease anything except for the edges. Now if I hit D, it's just going to, it'll smooth these out to be round, but not a big deal. Okay, so I just want to check it against his old cape to see how it matches. But now we have this nice even cape. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing, but it just has a little bit better defined geometry. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just hide the original cape. Now let's say we want this cape to flow in the breeze behind him. Okay, and I'm going to save this really quick. Just need 3, and it just saves so much faster. You saw how much faster that saved instead of like waiting for the project to save because it was saving all of those tools. Okay, so. Yeah, let's check out that concept really quick. Okay, so it's kind of blowing, it's curling around. So we're gonna kind of decide, figure this out. So oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so it's curling around in this direction, right here. Okay, so from his shoulder on this side, it's curling around. So the wind is blowing essentially in this direction, right? It's like blowing, or maybe even kind of coming up like this and kind of making that cape bellow, right? So essentially what we're going to want to do is get that cape kind of out and around, and the best brush to use for that is this Move Elastic brush or the Snake Hook brush. They both work. But this Move Elastic brush will allow you to move in a kind of a larger, squishier way than the regular Move brush. Okay, so let's take a look at the difference. So this is a Move Elastic. You can see how elasticy it is versus just the regular Move brush, which the fall off is much different, and it just that's the main thing is the fall off. It's not as squishy. It doesn't affect as many polys. So do Move Elastic, and I'm going to turn off symmetry really quick. Oh, come on, if I can remember the hotkey for it. Okay, and then I'm just gonna start working from the back and working on the billow. Okay, so making it billow and then kind of curving down. When you use that Move elastic brush, it works really well for hair and capes because you want it to be squishy and kind of help you move a lot of geometry in a very smooth way, I guess. So there's that kind of that billow shape. And we probably want it to billow out a lot more, like out behind him. But you kind of want to make it act like a sail. Whoa, what happened? Okay. And you also want it to keep its volume. Like, you don't want to stretch it out too far at the bottom because it's cloth, right? It's not gonna get all stretched out of shape. If it's gonna move on one side, you're gonna need to compensate on the other side because it's cloth and it's just kind of flowing, and it's not gonna be thick and thin as much, if that makes sense. It's gonna have to compensate. So, all right, I think I lost my. Did I lose my pen? I lost my pen. Where'd you go, pen? I don't know what happened to my pen. Weird. I only get my mouse now, I guess. I've never had that happen before. That's weird. Okay, let's check out that. I'm going to park this over here so we can see it. Okay. Can you guys all see that? All right. So, and it's kind of hard to see where that cape tip is going. But if you want to kind of get this flow right here happening, you just kind of go through it with a smaller brush and it'll affect a smaller area while still maintaining that. Amy, yep. Okay, and then this last little twist back here. Let's see, that's kind of how you do it. See how it's maintaining that. It's not adding a lot of undulations or warbles. It's still keeping it smooth, but it's only like adding them exactly where you want them. And you can pull this in, pull this out. Bring this whole side over. I don't know. It just depends on. And it's like billowing off of his shoulder too. So this is exactly how I did Loki's cape, because his cape is it's part of his character, so it's really billowing in the wind. But that's how you do it with so the secret is single-sided mesh with the Move elastic brush. That's the secret that I found anyway. Okay, so now when you're all done, say you took some time and you posed this exactly how you wanted it to be, and you're happy with it, and it's like, all right, now what? Now what do I do? Well, then you just come back and you add the thickness back in. So you just go to your Z modeler brush, and you go to hover over a face, go to extrude, polygroup all, and then just bring that thickness right back. And then hit subdivision surface, and there you go. There's his cape billowing in the wind. No, what I'm saying, Overton, is not. It's not. I made it larger, but what I'm saying is don't make it bigger than what it should be. Like in your mind as you're posing it, try and keep it the same size. Don't go stretching it all crazy like I did. Like do as I say, not as I do. This is just a demonstration, so I did it really quickly. But yeah, try and keep it the same size. Just make it billow. Or if he's gonna have if you're trying to hit this concept and this pose, and the cape needs to be bigger, then what you would do is make it bigger. Remember that, or write it down, or whatever. And then when you have to go back to the T pose to make it real, you're like, okay, his cape needs to be bigger in the T pose. So you go back to the T pose and make it a little bigger, if that makes sense. So anyway, that's kind of how you you pose capes. All right. Yeah, and now I want to pose as cape. Anyway. All right. Any other questions, you guys? Does that help you, Overton? Is that good? Romper Room met. Yep. I see Amy and Overton and Lord Humongous. Oh, Romper Room. That's been a while. That dates you. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yep. And also, like I said, make sure you you dim down the whiteness in his eyes. They're like, yeah, go, like I said, take it down to like somewhere in here. And that's for all eyes across the board, no matter like what nationality, skin tone, anything. Just eyes in general are just not white. They're not bright white eyes, and the reason why is because, and I've explained this before, but it'll just blow out anything that's anywhere. Not even in the eyes. I'm talking about anywhere. Like if he had a white outfit on and it was 100% white, and you try to light that afterwards, it's gonna just blow out. Like you're just gonna have just white spots that are gonna blow out all of the details. And the exact same thing goes with 100% black. You want to take it down to about 80% black. So if his beard is 100% black, it's not, but it's close. But if it was 100% black, I'd ask you to kick it up to about 80%, because with dark black colors, what will happen is all your shadows will get lost, and you can kind of see it now because you have some detail in his hair that you can only see in certain light. See, if I turn this and the light catches in his hair and you start to see the details that you've added, you would see those details a little more if the color wasn't so dark. You just kind of raise them up a little bit, and it'll catch those really cool highlights and everything that you have going in there. So, if no one else has a question, could you show how you place fingernails nicely on the fingers? I'm struggling with the correct placement and transition between the finger and fingernail. Sure. Actually, I could use Overton's hand if he doesn't mind. Okay, let's hide this and solo the hands. Come on, solo the hands. Okay, these have great fingernails on them. So essentially, what you do is, oh, can I just show what the hair color should be? Oh, okay. So we still have the hair color. What I would do is, the color is fine, but I would take it up into here. Like desaturate it just a little bit and somewhere up in here, like this. You can have so what that'll do is that will give you a little more to play with. So you can take your shadows later when you render it, you can take your shadows to darker, and you could darken up the hair with the shadows a little bit more, but having it lighter like this, it'll allow you to kind of add the highlights and things like that, so you can actually see the details in there. And it goes the same with, it's like it's on both spectrums, right? It's like brightest 100% white, you want to kick it down, 100% dark, you want to kick it up. So it's just kind of, just try and stay out of the darkest band of colors you can and the lightest band of colors you can. Just kind of bring those two in a little bit. Oh, hey, what's up, Sean? Is there an overview of Substance Painter and Marmoset and what they do? I'm sorry if this is a dumb question. They seem similar to me, and I don't know what makes each unique. Sure, Sean, I can tell you really, really quickly exactly what they are both used for. Also, Steam is having a great sale on Marmoset, Marmoset Tool Bag and Substance Painter right now. Not Substance Painter, sorry. Marvelous Designer. If you're interested in those, picking those up, they're on sale, the summer sale right now. Okay, Marmoset Tool Bag is great. It's like the best for baking maps and creating textures based off of baking maps. Okay, so it does make textures, but that's where it stops. So it's really good at transferring the high resolution data to the low resolution mesh. And that's exactly what I teach in the workshop in module 8. Okay, so that is what Blizzard uses. That's what a whole bunch of studios use, because the normal maps come out just super crispy, nice, and the ambient occlusion comes out super buttery and smooth. And it's very, very editable. So they have cages, and the cage will actually you want to look at it and see the cage defines the envelope where the transfer is going to take place inside. Okay, so if your high resolution mesh is sticking outside of the cage, in Marmoset you can see that, and you can go and edit that cage and make it grow so it encapsulates that problem area. Really easy to edit. You can also edit skew maps in there, where if something is off, like a screw or something, and it's being skewed, you can go paint that out and fix it really easily inside of Marmoset. So baking maps is number one. Number two, it's just, at its heart, it's a game engine that they decided to. It's going to my screen. Anyway, it's a game engine that they saw their artists were displaying their models in it. So they're like, hey, I think we can sell this as a model viewer. So what it was made for is viewing models and handing it to artists and saying, hey, use this as a game engine to test your models out first. And so you don't have to go buy a game engine or put it in Unreal or anything like that. You can just show it in here. And then they made a model viewer that you can then embed inside of ArtStation and show people your models without having them download your models. And you can light them really nicely in a scene and then make a model viewer and stick it up there. So those are the two key elements that Marmoset will give you. So a real-time model viewer and a map baker, and they're like some of the best, okay? And then as far as Substance Painter, now there's Substance Designer and there's Substance Painter. Now Substance Designer is a texture maker with nodes and things like that. I kind of think of it as an artist palette, like the big piece of wood that all the paint's on, and you can mix things and try different colors and try different paints and stuff like that. That's Substance Designer, okay? Now Substance Painter is the brush, the applicator. You're taking the paint and you're sticking it on your model. That's essentially what Substance Painter is. It's like an assigner. Now, Substance Painter does have a baking engine built into it, but it's just not as good as Marmoset's Baker. It's very, very close, like it's a close second, but the naming conventions in there and the way you set it up, it's just kind of it's just not non-intuitive. So you kind of get stuck a little bit, and you can't edit your cages, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. But what it's extremely good at, like no other, is creating procedural textures like leather and metal and all these kinds of things. That's why Designer is so awesome. But you can also make textures inside of Substance, and you can go find textures that other people have made and assign them to your model, and there's just a plethora of them, and you can mix them together. Like you can take a rusty metal and a greasy metal and some dust and some, this and that, and you can use all these maps that you've baked out of Marmoset or Substance, and you plug them in, and the engine uses all of those maps to then define what your texture is going to be, and then it kicks out these textures to then push over to the game engine. And Substance Painter has kind of been a quote-unquote game changer when it comes to realistic textures in video games, like Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted. All those companies, they use Substance Painter to really push the level of realism in their textures, and the way they do that is with Substance Painter. Now, the reason I haven't taught Substance Painter in the workshop yet is because we do stylized characters here, and stylized characters and Substance Painter kind of goes into that realm of realism a little too far, and you can use Substance for stylized characters, but it's just kind of overkill. It's just way too much. So that's why I teach how to bake maps in Marmoset, because it's just enough, and it won't overwhelm you with its stuff. But what we're doing is in the workshop is with sirloin, the reason I'm making sirloin is because I'm going to get together with Brendan Bankston, and we're going to talk about Substance Painter, and he's going to help me texture sirloin with Substance, so it'll at least give you a crash course in it, and you can get using it, and you'll kind of know how it works and stuff like that. And no, you do not need to have Designer to use Painter effectively. I don't own a copy of Designer. I just have Painter, and it's plenty, because other people that make materials, I just kind of leave it up to them to go make materials. There's a lot of people that are just doing that now, though, and you'll see them on ArtStation, these little spheres with textures on them, like marshmallows and mushrooms and popcorn and all this weird stuff. It's like, why would you ever use that texture? But they're making them and they're having a great time with it. And you can take those, they're called smart materials. You can take them and apply them to your models, and then it will populate like popcorn over the top of whatever you're texturing if you want. So it's a lot of fun, and it gets crazy and it gets kind of complex, but it's really fun to use, and it's not as hard to use as you might think. But it is kind of the next level if you want to take your characters to the next level of texturing. So, all right. So that's like kind of the long answer, and it's not a dumb question at all. Super confusing. So, all right. For sirloin, are you going to still bake the maps in Marmoset? Yes, I am. Absolutely. Yep, I will. I'm just not a huge fan of bake. I might bake a few maps inside of Substance, because there are a few maps, specific ones that I might need, but I think I can make all the ones I need out of Marmoset, and they're just so much nicer. I wish I could show you the difference. I might. We'll have to see what we have time for. Would I ever use Maya over ZBrush to pose a low poly character that's not rigged? No, I would always. So the not rigged is the defining question right there. If you said if it was rigged, 100%. Well, because you can't rig inside of ZBrush, but I would absolutely rig a character, a low poly character. If I needed to do a whole bunch of poses, it would be worth it for me to take the time to rig it, even with an auto rigger, to just do a bunch of poses. But I still prefer the Transpose Master to pose my low resolution stuff inside of ZBrush than try and make Maya pose. It just doesn't have the tools for it. Yeah. Oh, gosh dang it. My stupid pen. I don't know what happened to my pen. Okay, anyway, with a fingernail, I'll try and explain it without having a pen, and that's going to be, here we go. So where the fingernail lies is between your last knuckle, some people call it your first knuckle, but your last knuckle and the tip of your finger. The fingernail goes down halfway in between those 2 points. Okay, and then it kind of rolls around, and you have it arcs. So Overton, you've done a great job with this fingernail. So it has an arc like this from this direction, and then it also sinks down into the finger, and it comes out like Overton has it here. So see how it's kind of it sinks down into the finger. It kind of pokes its head out right there, and then it overhangs right here as much as the character calls for. But sometimes you don't want to go too far. I know this guy has a cracked pinky. Sorry to point that out. So, but you don't want to go too far over the top, because you're going to have to retopologize this. And if it goes too far over and actually breaks the silhouette, then you're going to have to support it in the low poly resolution mesh. But if it just barely peeks over like this one does, then you're not going to have to worry about it, and you can just retopologize it into the tip of the finger and let the normal maps take care of all that stuff. So I don't know if you had a specific question as far as, yeah, it was the 70s. Yeah, it was the Coke fingernail. So you'll have to support that overhang in his low resolution if you're going to retopologize him. But for the only thing I could say right now is you could put a little more knuckle meat behind the the fingernail right here, because it's pretty thin and narrow right behind the fingernail, which is good, but you might be able to push it back just a little bit right here instead of being so close. Just kind of give it some space, just a little bit. He needs to fight crime. So anyway, yeah, this is really good. I might take the fingernails, and people are all different shapes and sizes, and fingernails are also all different shapes and sizes. So sometimes a fingernail will cover the entire tip of the finger. Sometimes it'll be all narrow, and there'll be a lot of like finger fat on either side of the fingernail. It just depends on the character. So for this one, yeah, I would say this is great right here. But you can also like narrow it up and add, have it so there's finger fat on either side. Yep, knuckle meat. I'll give you some knuckle meat. So yeah, something like that. Just so from the top, I mean, look at your own finger and see how far that the finger flesh goes up. It usually goes all the way to either side of the fingernail on the top. So see how this one, the finger is kind of disappearing behind the fingernail a little too soon. So you can go back underneath here and just kind of pull that out like this. So it travels along far enough to the tip of it. And then you can kind of embed this fingernail down into the finger, because it only really sticks out of the finger at the tip. Otherwise, it's kind of seated in there, and it has that, that crease all the way around the outside. So, yeah, hope that answers your question. Donna had me. What's wrong with finger fat? That's funny. It's like it wants me to censor finger fat. All right, now my YouTube isn't letting me click on it. What's going on? Come on. Something is going on with my machine. It's not letting me pick anything but ZBrush. Something is up that I did, and I don't know what I did. That's what McNuggets are made of. Dodge Doctor, that's horrible. Oh man. Dry rub. Oh, you guys. Okay. So anyway, did you guys have any other questions? I think I'm gonna wrap it up a little early today, but because, well, in most part because my pen isn't working any longer. So I don't know what the heck's going on. And I can't select anything on my second screen. It's just like, no, you can't do any of that. Do it. Let's see. I don't know what's up. Donna, it's like totally it's making me approve all of your messages. Are you typing too much? Maybe it's saying you're typing too much. Donna says, I can't believe your tablet pen is gone. Dumb, that would freak me out. Yeah. I'm just gonna have to reset my machine after this. So yep, I angered the tech goblins. Well, it's weird. I can't select anything on my second screen. So I don't even know how I'm going to shut off the stream. I can't do it. Your pen does that all the dang time? Oh man. Yeah, Wacom drivers. Wacom. It's on my hat. I'm wearing my Wacom hat today. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I can minimize this. Bring it back. Would that do it? Nope. I don't know what. Oh, this is just crazy. All right, you guys. You've hardly spoken? I don't know. I just know that that's a thing. If somebody's like talking too much, they think it's spam, and they like make you not do that anymore. Okay, so yeah, Overton, this is great. I love this guy. Done a great job. Yeah, his shoulders might be just a tad too wide, but I don't want to say that because it's so great, but because it is matching his nice bell-bottom pants and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. but it just feels like his shoulders might be just a slightly too wide, or maybe not. I don't know. So excited. Yay. New student. How's it going? Welcome. And I was just saying I'm having some tech issues with my pen. So you can watch any of you new students. I do this Friday Q&A as many times as I possibly can. If I can do it every single Friday, I will. And I have in the past. So if you want to watch all of the past episodes, you can go in the community, and on the right-hand side, there is a link to the page that has all of them. So you can watch all the past episodes. And there's a lot of good stuff in there that I cover that I haven't necessarily covered in the workshop. So it's kind of an ongoing thing. And you can come here on Fridays and ask your questions. If you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer them. And because the workshop is gigantic, and I don't expect you to like memorize everything about it. So if you're struggling and you've hit a specific struggle point, feel free to come here and ask your questions. And no question is dumb. Feel free. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, and we just kind of have a chill, laid back time, and it's a lot of fun. And so if you make his legs a bit longer, the shoulders won't seem as big. There you go. Trying to match the concept, but I can slim the shoulders. So let me just check this concept. So, well, his head is slightly larger in this concept as well. And this his right arm seems a little scrawny because some of it's in shadow. But yeah, I'm not sure how much of his arm is hidden in shadow. Another thing I was saying you might do to balance the weight is thicken at least his upper arm a little bit to make that connection not seem so scrawny right there. But let him come. You guys, that's too funny. Anyway, I can't even. There we go. Let's see. All right. Well, it's letting me select my mail, but okay. Oh, it's back. Hey, it's back. I don't know what I did, but it's back. Okay, sweet. Now at least I can turn off the stream now. That's super weird. Okay. And one more time, you guys that are just coming in, I just announced just to people here on the stream that the Mermay blog post has just gotten posted, so you guys can check it out before I announce it. If you go to, I'll see if I can post a link. If you just go to 3dcharacterworkshop.com and click on the blog at the very top, you'll see it, and you can click on it. Here we go. So yeah, you can click on it, and here's the winners. And I just talk about Tom Bancroft a little bit and some of his art, and then talk about Tom's choices. Now, I was hoping I could get a little more from Tom. He's been super duper duper busy. He's making his own animated short with his brother. So he's been traveling a lot for summer, going to different countries and doing some talks and stuff. So he's an incredibly busy guy. And I think we're lucky just enough to have him do a quick judge and make his top picks, but he didn't tell me why he picked any of these. He's just like, these are my favorites. All right, see ya. So unfortunately I didn't get too much out of Tom. So I took the time and put some comments on the bottom of each of these. So hopefully that'll help you guys out. I didn't have enough time to actually give critiques, but I just wanted to say thank you all that participated. It was a super fun challenge. And again, the challenge was to get all of you thinking about sculpting as much as you can every single day, even if it's just small. It's like a sketchbook. Just sketch every single day, and that's going to make you better. Even if it's something you're just going to throw away, just do as much as you can. It's like practicing guitar or something like that. You want to practice every single day. That's what's going to make you better. That's the idea behind speed sculpting, is to get you practicing, giving you a reason to practice, that kind of thing. So let's see. Looks like the concept is a bit of an upshot, so that perspective is working against you a bit. Yep, looks amazing though. I agree, Sean. Any ideas how to turn off the screensaver? Oh, I haven't. That's brand new to this release, so I'm not sure how to do that. Should it be done in texturing only? Punching out holes using full black. What do you... Oh, I missed your thing. I have to make a mesh netting piece of clothing for my Arthur challenge. Do you have any suggestions for how to approach this? So, yeah, I would do just like Matt did with his. Did you see his road girl right here? So he has a little bit of mesh on the arm of his character. That's right here. Let's see if we can check it out. Hope you don't mind, Matt. So it looks like what Matt did, if I were to guess, is mask off this pattern across the surface. You can do this in a number of ways. If you want a very, very tight, perfect mesh, what you need to do is put UVs on whatever piece that you need the netting to be on. And then you can use the noisemaker to then make a mask from. And you can use the noisemaker. I don't have time to really do it today to show you, but you can use the noisemaker and you can actually make a netting pattern inside of Photoshop that tiles, like a 512 by 512 or something like that, that tiles that you can load into the noisemaker, apply to your mesh. Even if it's just texture, just make it black and white, and really strong black and white pattern. Then you put it on your mesh. And then what you do is you use mask by intensity. So you go in here, mask by intensity, and that's going to mask off everything that is the contrast. So it'll mask off either the net or everything that's not the net. And you just flip it to make it work. And what you do is you do an extraction. So after you get that netting masked off properly, then you use this extract that's right here. And I can show you really quick on this arm, just as to give you an idea. Okay, so, oh, my pen still isn't working. I was hoping it would work since my windows were working. But you essentially just, mask pen. I'm going to apply this dynamic subdivision and subdivide it a couple more times so I get more resolution on the surface. And then you can just mask like this. I'm doing it with a pen, so it's horrible. But you can do you can do this by hand if you want to, like this, with not with a mouse. Okay, and then what you do is you just hit extract, and what it's going to do is it's going to make a mess, but it's going to extract and make some geometry, and then you can adjust the thickness of it. And then when you're all done, you hit accept, and it's going to make a brand new mesh. And then what you do with that brand new mesh is you make it a single-sided mesh. So you delete the thickness, make it a single-sided mesh, and then Z-remesh it, which will clean it all up and make it look really nice like this. And that's kind of I think that's how you did it. Let's see. So yep, you did it with Noisemaker. All right. Let's see. Wish we could have a sketchbook area in the community. I dump sculpts in there. Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should do that. We should. So also shout out to Sean. Sean, thank you so much. So Sean Burke running the Discord channel and helping me during the student-only live stream this Wednesday. Sean's down with the flu right now. He was going to be in my ear again and help me with the questions on here, but he's down and out today. So sorry, Sean. Hope you get better, man. I did a second version using NanoMesh, and it was a smaller net. I can't decide if the netting should be big or small. I would lean on the side of big and simplified versus small and detailed, because you can use it in so many more applications, like 3D printing, for example. And then it's just more apparent in your texture of your game mesh. When you start to get very small, things tend to get very noisy and distracting and kind of like, ew, that's too much happening in that one area. you do want to have areas of detail, areas of rest, but too much detail is too much detail. And just kind of do it. I think this right here is a perfect amount, to be honest. It's because it can be printable. You might even want to exaggerate the thickness a little bit and make sure there's no air in between the netting and the arm if you're going to want to 3D print that. Okay, so make sure there's no space. That way it will print just fine. Yeah, poor Jarvis. Yep, I'm sculpting with a brick. You can tell. Okay, you guys, I got to take off. Looks like we're going to have a house showing soon, so I got to go get the house ready to be shown. So wish me luck, and thank you guys for hanging out. Sorry I got the notification so late. And like always, if you have any more questions during the week and you don't want to wait till Friday and there's just some burning question or you've hit a wall and you just can't get past it, feel free to send me an email, shane.olson@3dcharacterworkshop.com. I try and answer every single email that I get if I can. Or you can always ask in the Discord channel, in the student community. There are wonderful students in here that would be happy to answer your questions, possibly faster than I could. But yeah, you have help. We're all here for you. So feel free to ask your questions. Don't be afraid. Don't be too much of a lurker. Get your stuff out there. All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful weekend. 4th of July is coming soon here in the US, so that's going to be a good time. So anyway, thanks everybody. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Cheers. We'll see you.